correctly.
All right, Manuel, thank you very much. Stick around a bit longer for the discussion at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will
Thank you.
Move to the next presentation, which is held by, I hope I spelled this right, Mr. Anton Popachuk. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Popadiuk, sure.
Okay, close enough. With the title Russian Experience of Using Blockchain Technology in Railway Transportation, Theoretical Aspects and Practical Challenges, please.
Good morning, dear colleagues. My name is Anton Popadiuk. I'm a postgraduate student of Petersburg State Transport University, Logistics and Commercial Operations Department. And I'm also a deputy head of Luzhskaya railway station for technical operations. I'm 24 years old, so today I'm going to present our research devoted to Russian experience of using blockchain technology in railway transportation. Within the frame of the study, we highlighted the following research question. What are the prospects and practical challenges of blockchain technology implementation in Russian segment of transport and logistics field? In order to answer it, we divided the research into three sections. The first one was literature review, where we were exploring both overall tendencies and blockchain studies in supply chain management area. The second part was method, consisting of a global survey of transport and logistics companies. And the last section was focused on revealing weak spots of the field by the example of Luzhskaya railway station. And during the theoretical analysis, we defined domestic databases as undemanding sources. At the same time, Web of Knowledge and Scopus couldn't meet specified criteria of the study, examining exceptionally Russian experience. That's why we chose domestic PhD thesis as the most appropriate source of data for conducting the scientific research. We have explored 221 PhD theses for 40 years in railway transportation, devoted to field operation and supply chain management. And according to the results of the research, to the analysis, we defined operations in railway district, train formation and wagon traffic volume management, and operational dispatch and management systems as the key direction of scientific research in the field operation. At the same time, specific features of different categories of cargoes transportation, as well as operational planning for goods traffic and cargo flow arrangements, were the most popular areas in the logistics field. In our research, we relied on a multi-criteria approach. So let me hide this. Multi-criteria approach presented in the bottom right corner. We discovered that 80% of the PhD thesis approached the problem of business processes automation, while only 5.5% handled the problem of business process digitalization. Despite the huge gap between a number of scientific researches meeting the first two criteria, there was a well of difference in their trends. At the same time, we found the positive correlation criterion 1 with criterion 4 and 5 respectively. Highlighting an interaction problem, the authors were trying to solve it by automated control system implementation. However, the amount of information products poorly integrated among themselves were not so much helpful as harmful for the field. The demand for integration of all the automated components into the unified environment served as a starting point for digitalization's development. Amidst a large diversity of digital technologies, we identified blockchain as the only one meeting the specified requirements on the basis of which the study was undertaken. Despite the fast pace of blockchain's popularity, a number of studies devoted to distributed ledger is still small. We examined all the PhD theses for blockchain mentioned in railway transportation and defined the strengths and the weaknesses of the domestic researches dealing with the technology. PhD Belozorova, who was making specialty out of operational planning of goods traffic, was limited by exceptionally blockchain mentioning. Dr. Zhuravlyova and PhD Tkachov provided an extensive coverage on digitalization of transport and logistics market. However, the scientists relied on an economic approach to the problem. there weren't any technical and technological solutions proposed. Team of higher education teaching personnel of St. Petersburg State University of Economics expanded the previous experience by smart contracts investigation. The scientists took an economic assessment of smart contracts implementation for the first time. However, the researchers didn't take into account the values of possible fines and penalties reduction. So they need to forecast the economic indicators arising from lack of practical model led to low accuracy of the economic assessment. In order to amplify the study, we invited to participation up to the practical part of the research. We chose cross-sectional survey as the key method. The main purpose was to define an attitude of transport and logistics companies to blockchain technology, and we divided our poll into two parts consisting both closed type and open-ended questions. And more than 20 companies took a part in the survey. So in order to amplify the study, we invited to participation not only well-known enterprises, but also small companies which were carriers, consignors, cargo receivers, contractors, and owners of rolling stock. Regarding the respondents, we used an opposite approach. We relied on exceptionally high-ranked employees who were knowledgeable about the key information inside the company under consideration. In order to provide anonymity, the names of the companies under respondents' positions were hidden. I'm a bit short of time, so I can't explain the topic at all, so I will try to do it shortly. We diversified the closed part of the survey into three groups of questions, which were devoted to blockchain understanding, smart contracts understanding, and to existing model of transport and logistics field. On the surface, blockchain technology is well known for the companies. However, we asked a trick question about the difference between public and private blockchains to define the candor of the respondents' answers. Being a basic point for understanding the technology, it enabled us to reduce the percentage of affirmative replies from 44 to 35%. The second part showed us a common understanding of smart contracts at all, without any skills in their deploying. And then we examined the existing model of transport and logistics field based on the futures under consideration and determined the level of satisfaction with the key points. So the results of the research were really unexpected for us. According to the answer received, we revealed dissatisfaction with the quality of services provided regarding the level of transparency, the document flow automation, and data security. Complaint management system was also recognized as ineffective for the companies under consideration. Despite a high number of weak spots in the field, we discovered areas meeting companies' expectations. These points included ability of tracking the cargo location, convenience of initiating a shipment, and quality of the existing IT subsystems. In considering the economic aspects of the existing operating model, we suggested that the companies might have had any difficulties during the remittance process by financial institutes, such as long waiting times for the payments or high fees. However, we were wrong. According to the poll's results, it was found that 74% out of 100 replies pointed to the lack of the challenges mentioned above. So, we asked the respondents to describe, firstly, in order to provide anonymity of the answers, the names of the companies were hidden. So in this part, we asked open-ended questions. Most of the respondents rated the quality of services provided as average. C15, who was an operator of rolling stock, divided the quality system into 4 components presented in the picture. So take a look at the reasons leading to such assessment. Then we asked the respondents to describe the digital technologies currently used on their job. However, most of them mentioned exceptionally automated but not digital systems. The companies often don't see the difference. There were those who highlighted even blockchain amidst their using technologies. Nevertheless, they were limited by exceptionally operational testing of it. There is no common usage of blockchain in Russia yet. The blockchain of Russian Railways became the best known experience in Russian segment of transport and logistics market. Maersk, Sberbank and SAP were identifiable amidst the companies, and other blockchain presented in a picture became the least known. At the same time, all the respondents claimed that blockchain is not the key direction of the company's development. Despite the poor experience of using blockchain technology, all the respondents have been sure that distributed ledgers have a great potential in the field of logistics. They highlighted transparency and high-efficient data management as the key advantages of the platform. Against the background of recent events, we couldn't avoid the question of the impact of coronavirus on the operating processes. All the companies adapted to the new conditions easily. We asked the respondents if their enterprises changed the strategy in pandemic period or not, however, got exceptionally negative answers. In order to reveal weak spots of the field, we decided to analyze the existing model of Luzhskaya railway station operating. The station is the biggest one in Russia and the most innovative all over Europe. And we discovered that there are a wide variety of data flows arising during an operating process. The need to constant interaction makes it necessary to have a high efficient data flow management system, reducing to the transaction costs. While speech flows can be optimized by changing the rules and operating standards, the flows or written information depend on using automated and digital systems. And the last slide is, instead of our unified digital environment, we have a vast variety of automated control systems, poorly integrated among themselves. The key employees of the station have to use about 50 automated control systems while working. The software applications presented in the picture are real, but the names of it are hidden because of commercial confidentiality. What is more, the same information can either be different or be duplicated depending on the systems. It leads to inconvenience for users as well as to data mismatch and higher transaction costs. In our opinion, blockchain is able to unite all the systems that will make it possible to manage the information in a more appropriate way. So I'm short of time. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready to answer the questions if you have.
Yeah, thank you, Anton. So first, let me say, again, quite extensive research. And I know that's quite a challenge to put all the stuff into 10 minutes of presentation. So first of all, thank you very much. We don't have the time to go over all your aspects of your research, but one thing that I like, you showed the results of the closed part of the survey. There I found one thing interesting. So first, you said that. Right. So on the nice, thank you. On the bottom right part, you see that most companies are not satisfied with transparency in SCM. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is quite something which practically responds also to studies we made, that companies see that there is a lack of transparency, which causes problems for risk management, data sharing, and so forth. Also for AI, by the way, where we can discuss this later. But on the other hand, I mean, blockchain is, and that would basically be my question. I mean, in the end, blockchain could actually deliver such a solution. So it could bring transparency and eliminate a trusted third party, which is basically the idea of a decentralized system. So and what are your thoughts on that? Why does the companies don't see this potential for this, but on the other hand see the problem of transparency in supply chains?
So firstly, needless to say that there is like lack of knowledge about blockchain here. So most of the companies they don't know what the blockchain is. For example, we have an operational testing of blockchain in Russian railways. But most of the companies, I mean, most of the clients of the carrier, they just refuse to participate there because they didn't know what the blockchain was, and they refused to buy compute nodes. So it prevented the ledgers from becoming distributed. So that's the main reason.
Yeah, so maybe a quick follow-up question, and then we have sadly I have to move on because I wondered, there's another figure here which says that the majority of companies say they know what smart contracts are. And I just wondered, because in my experience, many companies, at least in the ones that I know, they do not know what smart contracts are. And so, but you already explained it partly, I think, because you said that the companies who don't know, they don't want to take part in the survey. Is this right? And so only the companies who have some knowledge about actually did take part. Is this a right assessment?
You know, it can be written a lot. For example, most of the respondents mentioned that they know what the blockchain is, but as you can see, only a third part just understand the difference between public and private blockchains, and the same situation with smart contracts. For example, as you can see, some of the respondents mentioned that they have a part in the process of deploying smart contracts, but actually their role was more just to advise, not to deploy it, not to just to have any engineering solutions there. So I wouldn't believe that. It's well known. I mean, about smart contracts in the field of logistics. I just suppose that the respondents just could said that, yeah, we know what it is, but we can't to check it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Anton. I had a ton of other questions, but unfortunately our time here is limited. So are there any urgent questions from the audience? Otherwise we would move on. Thank you again, Anton, for your nice presentation. And there's still a lot to do in the area of blockchain, I think, and a lot going on.